Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI this morning on ITV. Now, yesterday, the APC, they came together at the Eagle Square in Abuja for their national convention. After much tussle, after much argument, after much disagreement, finally they shaped the sword and they choose to do the needful to elect the national chairman and other top officials. People have so many things to say about the convention. I believe you saw it on the TV, you read reports on the newspaper. What do you feel about the manner about which APC as a political party in Nigeria conducted their convention? Patrick.
We expected the party to do the needful by having a free each convention. Free convention. But from what we saw narrowly at the beginning, the law of hula balloon, the law of opera, the law of crisis, that's the security men, agencies that were on ground to monitor things there, were overpowered. They were overpowered. Even by their own, like what was told, their own talks at the venue, there was no problem. So for me, I don't know how they were able to manage that crisis. I wouldn't know. Because what we saw, even when I watched on screen, when I watched the way things went there, it's surprising to me that they were able to skate through, come up with a convention. But what I would say finally is that it's like they already have a plan, mind-made that it must be that candidate. But if you watch at the beginning, it is those, both from the news, from the media press, it's those when they paraded that emerge at the end of the day. But how they emerge, me, I'm surprised. Because the crisis on another very day, able to skate through and come up with the convention, those who are elected. So the magic there, I think, is because of time frame that they must organize this convention and send the name to INEC. And that would have convened them to make sure that thing is done. But the way it was at the beginning, it was shaky. I never believed that will be heard and they will get results. But I believe that they have to do some external pressure and internal pressure that made them to be able to come out and go ahead and those candidates emerge. It was a miracle.
A miracle. Derek, was it a miracle? Because he said it was a miracle with the pressure and everything to meet up with the timetable. That's why we saw what really transpired yesterday at the Eagle Square in Abuja. Take it up from there.
I wouldn't say it's as a result of the pressure to meet up with the timetable. I recall about 4 years ago when I accompanied our current governor, the governor of Edo State, to the Eagle Square for the same APC convention that saw Comrade Adamso Shomole being the chairman of the party. We had similar experience, but it wasn't as worse as this. I recall the delegates from Delta State throwing sticks, chairs, tables, stones, because two factions, were justly to be recognized as delegates from the same state. So the faction that was had more leverage got access into the venue. Then the second faction somehow were able to smuggle themselves into the venue much later. And as soon as they came in, they started throwing sticks. And the delegates from Edo State, we are sitting close to them. Sticks, stones, chairs, table. Some people in delegates from Edo State were injured in the process. So I'm not surprised at all. APC as a party has had its fair share of fiasco, infighting, and what have you. I think they've made the system, the establishment, too volatile.
Too volatile.
Too volatile to the extent that a national chairman, you recall that a national chairman was removed from power by a world chairman. The lowest level of leadership removing the highest level of leadership of the party. So they still need to go to their drawing board and do every proper thing to consolidate that establishment. You know, I think they've not done enough. I know due to the need for them to grab power, they have to quickly, you know, bring people together, not minding their character. They just, okay, he appeals to me, his face look okay, maybe he's handsome, he's soft-spoken, okay, you can take this position. You know, without properly looking into their character, you know, before putting these people in positions of authority. And this is, you know, the results that we are seeing today. So if we are permitted to delve deeper into, you know, this topic later on, you know, we'll be able to unfold certain gray areas in the establishment working documents that might, you know, be giving rise to all of this nonsense.
All right.
With due respect to the party.
All right. Now, if you take a look at the party, there was this issue of consensus candidate. Don't forget also about Article 84, that if you are a political appointee, you don't have the right to vote. You may just be there as a spectator. Did you see that aspect contributing or contributed to the mayhem Nigerians saw experienced during the convention, Barrister Patrick?
Yes, ordinarily, it ought not to be, but we're not far from the truth that might have contributed. Because the issue is that issue of a consensus candidate, ordinarily, I believe that what the party might have searched total everything about that person, about his character, about the person's degree. We feel, oh, no, we don't agree. Let the person be the candidate, consensus candidate. That was that is the essence of consensus, to pick the best from those people, all aspirants. Let us not take the best. So the consensus ought to be a very good one. So, but for you to be barred from not to vote, you should also are aware that the law that was just passed recently, also bar all political appointees not to vote or even voted for in any election. That's what I mean. That's why that section 84(12) now have been counted now, have been struck down by a court of Abia State. Yeah. You understand what I mean? So I think what APC did was the wise one, not to do against the foul, not to follow the law, but because they don't know how the thing will finally go at the Supreme Court. So it shouldn't be exercising futility. I think it's a kind of guiding principle. A guiding principle. Yeah, that was to show the party invocation. That to invoke that issue of security. Let me also use them. Those they are bad. That's why that there's still issue of let the courts let us do the right thing for now, as to be inside of the law. That was it. But so it's a very wise decision. So that will not be enough for somebody to start causing mayhem. I'm expecting. So what was it I expect to know or see in that convention is how the people were barred. Let them do the voting. But like I said, like Abracadabra election convention, I don't know how they come out, how they emerge. How they emerge. What are the voting people were actually barred, or because of the crisis, they just want to just say, oh no need, these are the lists. These are the people we want. They don't start releasing them. Because at the moment the dating went, I said it was a miracle. Me, I'm surprised how that election went. Because I did not see that actually voting. When I heard each of say, oh, they have to be barred with political party, they know that to be in contact with the law. But so on the line, I don't know how this will emerge. Right. We never see them vote as a result of the crisis. So if the crisis were to be said, that is how democracy is. Yeah. We're in trouble. That means democracies are meant for rascals. Yeah, it's meant for rascals. I'm not for
many persons may not really agree with that comment that democracy is meant for rascals.
No, if I said what happened yesterday and they said at the end of the day they made it a valid result. That means what I said then it means democracy here or is meant for rascals. Because if you're not a rascal, what happened yesterday? See, people were pushing it. It's not a joking matter. That's what I mean. At the end of the day, you say it was free and fair. Well, it's surprising. I left my case for now.
All right, over to you. He said it's surprising. He will use the term, but people will not agree to rascality, so to speak. If you take a look at the current situation in the APC right now, do you think that consensus candidacy is the right way for them to go? Do you think it's going to lead to more litigations against the party?
Well, there's something I've noticed with this convention. Even when they adopt a consensus candidate, to be on a safer side, they also make sure that that candidate go through the normal electoral process. It will be voted for, and votes will be counted. I experienced it 4 years ago when the former chairman of APC emerged as the chairman of APC. The normal process was still observed. It was voted for, and the votes were sorted, counted in the presence of the INEC officials who was on ground.
But in this case, there was there were no any type of voting. They said this is who won, despite the protest by some sect of the APC.
Okay, I didn't watch it. I'm not aware.
All right.
But the process usually takes all night long, the voting process. It takes all night long. They will call one position, people will vote. They'll call the other one, people will vote, even though almost all the positions were consensus. But they will still go through the normal voting process. They will count it, and the result will be announced, and the candidates will emerge in the process. So I'm surprised that what you are saying now, that they did not go through that process, because that is the most pragmatic, process that you can follow to avoid any form of litigation that might emerge.
Because according to a report, others stepped down for them to emerge.
If they step down willingly, I'm sure the leaders of the party will be wise enough to make them document it, or to ensure that they state in presence of a group of people who can bear witness to that fact, when it becomes necessary for it.
Barrister Patrick, it's like you have so much to say about this, because since some persons had to step down, whether they are hoodwinked or twisted to step down, there was a stepping down somewhere.
Yes, that is why I said it's the convention, the way they organized that election. They are saying small letter bacadabra. I cannot comprehend how they arrive at that, because what he's saying here is actually the truth. It has been the convention. Even when you say you have a considered candidate, they must pass through the process, do the normal voting.
Yes.
Everybody. And to tell you how they arrive on that very that person, it must go to court of litigation. They won't go to the field. So whether you step down or you don't step down, no, they are still going to do normal voting. At the end of the day, the vote will be counted. Remember Obasanjo during Tom Akini. When Obasanjo I still remember when they emerged, the person said they still went into voting. They will still count. At the end of the day, they have to count. They have to count the vote. Whether you step down or whether you're stepping down or not stepping down, the convention is that the election will still hold. Everybody will vote. At the end of the day, they will count the total vote and pronounce him the winner. That's how it's done. But this one, we did not see anything. I don't know how they're able to arrive at that. Because what they're doing, they don't hide it. Everybody will be voting. Everybody will be voting. From beginning to the end, they will count the vote, they will announce the winner of the. That's how it's done. And for me, where they arrive at this, well, I don't know.
All right, now a political party raised an eyebrow saying that INEC should cancel the convention because it's built on illegality. Honorable Derek, do you share that view and opinion? Because they say that how can a serving governor be leading an extraordinary committee and the rest of them that the convention must be stopped and every process that is surrounding the convention has been nullified? What do you feel about that?
I don't know what section of the APC constitution that was, consulted, or that is the backbone for which this arrangement was made. But something that I noticed since the time Adam Salio Shomole was removed as national chairman till when Victor Giadom was put there to be maybe caretaker, until Mai Malabuni was appointed, to conduct the convention, whereas he stayed there for almost 2 years. You will see that almost all of this process is not built on very strong ground. If they are to be challenged in court, I just hope that nobody comes up to challenge their position in court, because if anyone does, then it will be a very, very risky venture for the APC establishment. Because many of these things, I don't know why they like to take a lot of risk. If you must sack the former, National Working Committee, why didn't you, as fast as possible, conduct a fresh convention and, make sure you have a new working committee, so that if there's any litigation process that might come up, it would have been done with, a long time ago, rather than wait till this election year to, come about this whole arrangement. Well, I'm not a member of APC, and it is to the advantage of my party, PDP, that APC should have problems. But it is also not very fair on the part of the members of APC for it to have problems. So I think the leadership of APC needs to do every proper thing to make sure that the proper thing is done at every point in time. I'm not surprised, people, you cannot give what you don't have. The leaders of the party at the national level not been able to prove themselves to be quality leaders, over time, with the policies that they make, with the decisions that they make as it concerns the citizens of this country. A lot of people are crying, complaining about the state of the economy of the country, about the policies that the government take that affects the social, cultural lives of the people. And the government seems not to have a clue. Like I said when we just started, I said ITV is able to feel the pulse of the people at the grassroots. This is what leadership is about. It's all about. You should be able to feel the pulse of the people at the grassroots. If we have a government that goes abroad for medical tourism, if we have a government that eats foreign food, a government that shops for grocery abroad, a government that does not visit our market, does not visit our medical facility, that does not have anything to do with these social amenities, services of this country, everything is abroad, the orientation is abroad, then how will you be able to know how the people here are faring, what they want? These are the challenges we have with leadership. All right. And until we are able to remedy this error, then the problem might still continue.
All right. Now, he talked about litigation that, according to what the PDP said, that the convention should be nullified or struck off, some of that nature. Do you see someone, either from within the party or outside the party, taking APC to court because of the way and manner with which the convention was conducted? Barrister Patrick, after all, you're a legal practitioner.
Yes, I foresee that even myself, that is an outsider, I said the way and manner, I cannot comprehend it from what I saw. So if it's not done internally among members, other people who are not a party members from another party can also challenge the way and manner. It can come in two ways. All I know is that the way and manner that was done, the convention, from my own opinion, is faulty. Because I've been watching convention. See, so APC as a leading party, government in power, ought to be transparent. If they are not transparent, what they expect from another political party, because this is a government in power, APC, we expect them to show good example. A good leadership style, not like the Abacadabra they did. So I know that a lot of issues will emerge. They will naturally go to court. There are a lot of courts within the APC. Not in the APC, even some other PDP members, internal and external, all of them going to court. So there are likely to be litigation over this matter. Even apart from that, there are also pre-election matters that must also litigate on in the same matter, including the present one, and the pre-election matter. They will also go to court. Let us put their hands up, watch and see. I know it will come up, naturally it will come up, because in every, they're guided by the Constitution. Yeah, the Constitution is there to guide every election. The ones you go outside it, any of the person can take you up that you violated it. But the one trait with all these politicians, they like taking risk. Sometimes they know I thought I might have been told to them about the law. What it says, they will tell you, say, forget about that, we'll sort that out in court. They don't care. It's common with politicians. That's why they go on. He says it's common with them. Yes, that's true. They know what they will not. Most of them don't obey law. They call executive rascality. At the end of the day, they will tell you, don't want to sort it out in court, we'll sort it out in court. We don't care. They know, but I expected the APC to show good example in the way and manner the convention was carried out. Because apart from Nigeria, other countries must have been watching us. Not just only Nigerians alone. That's why we are worried. That's why we are worried that that is how it need to be. They ought to be more transparent. Yes. Well, when I've talked about Nigeria here, that I've said it severally, that what also played out, that Nigeria is a country where dog eat lion. The other thing, just you see who puts it happening. That is the country we are in. We must stop this impunity. We must stop it. Whether you are the president or what, you must show good example. I want a system whereby how do you run it? A system that is running well, not a system that is subjected to a lot of persons. Do I want it? But when you have a good running system, you don't need to bother yourself. Things will be moving. But it's a situation whereby you have a try and bring it on, you get here, you look at the law, you circumvent it, you go ahead. It's not hard work for democracy. That's why our people have been suffering. People have been suffering. That's the truth of the matter. You understand what I mean? Yeah. There's a scenario I brought you that was 1993. I still remember that time. I was not there. 1993. That time a point. After I was 100 level law student in university that time. When there was Abacha, what he did, so there was a kind of sanction against Nigeria that Abacha should step down over the issue of June 12. Sanction came, but Abacha never cared. One of the journalists from BBC, he said, no, this thing this sanction against Abacha will not be fetched. But it's common man that will suffer it. Common man. The journalist and a foreigner said, no. He said Nigerians are used to suffering. He said we are used to suffering. It's not just now. So a lot of things comes up. Nigerians do not give a damn because of the hardship they're used to suffering. All right. I just watched a South African reporter, Anchorman, just like the way we see here, over issue of the fuel hike as a result of the Ukraine-Russian war. So they have to adjust and increase it. When you watch the increase, Anchorman, after reading that news about the price, not up to a minute after it just concluded, he started shedding tears. How can South Africa go about this? He was crying. But here Nigerians, Anchorman will be defending government. Hold on, Patrick. We take exception to that. We take exception to that. I'm sorry. Yes. But I try to compare. Yes, I mean, the one thing is that I can the common man, I can win this, South Africa survive this painful hardship. But not hardship. All right. Now back to the convention. Now let's take a look at the petition of APC because of what they told us, what really transpired. They talked about former governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Adamu, was confirmed the new national chairman. Talking about North right now. I'm taking a look at the petition. Do you feel with this arrangement? Because I have order lists here. He said the Moses president, Muhammadu Buhari's preferred aspirant. He became a consensus candidate after George Akume, Tanko Amakura, Abdulaziz Yari, Sani Musa, and of course Saliu Mustafa and Itsu Mohammed withdrew from the race. That has been given to the northern part of the country. As a politician, do you feel or do you think that somewhere along the line the seat of the presidency, so to speak, will be zoned towards other geopolitical zones? If yes, which do you think APC will point out?
Well, long before this convention, APC had initially announced that the presidential ticket will be zoned to the south. I know the south comprises of the south, southwest, and southeast geopolitical zone of this country. So that we already saw it coming. We knew that the ticket for the chairmanship of the party will be zoned to the north. So if the ticket to contest as the president of this country is zoned to the south, I will prefer, for the sake of equity and fairness, for it to be streamlined to the southeastern bloc of this country. The southeasterners have been, for too long, marginalized. You will recall, I've said it before, that an average Igbo man is an industrialist. The industrial hub of this nation was, in my opinion, bettered in the southeastern part of this country. Then we were growing up, I was still very young. There was nothing like made in China anywhere in the world. The only thing that we saw then was made in Taiwan. And made in Taiwan was a direct contemporary of made in Aba. They were competing with each other in the markets, in the African markets. You know, we already have fabricators in the East. We have people producing different things, cars, and what have you. And you recall when the federal government was fighting with the Biafran soldiers way back, the Biafran soldiers were able to manufacture their own ammunitions, arms and ammunitions. They did not receive any single import from anywhere in the world. They manufactured their own arms. They manufactured their own automobiles. They manufactured refined their own fuel as at that time. All government could have done was to leverage on this, you know, their industrial orientation by giving them power. That is electricity. As at then, give them rail. You know, make the environment conducive for industrialization to thrive. And yes, why not set up fabrication plant for iron and steel in the East? Because Nigeria has been able to, you know, position itself in a way that every geopolitical zone is unique and has something to offer. Just like the North can offer agriculture. The Middle Belt Council offers agriculture. Then the southwestern part has positioned itself as the research and developmental hub of this country. We have great professors, great academicians over there. Then the southern blocks have a lot of natural resources of crude oil and what have you. You know, I think the Nigerian leadership, the government of this country, should do every proper thing to ensure that things are done in the proper perspective. This is the only way that this country will get to that state of El Dorado, you know, that we all, you know, cry for.
All right, now you just heard a politician talk. It was like if it would be left for him to do, he's going to zone it to the southeast. Do you share his views and opinions, or you differ?
Well, I think I agree with him 100% for sake of equity, fairness, and justice. You are aware, you are aware that even we are aware that really, I believe the Igbos have been fully marginalized for far too long. Far too long. It has been a time to heal this wound, this time around. But if you watch those South, like let's say, give ourselves South, Goodluck Jonathan. Then Southwest, Obasanjo was there for 8 years. Now you tell me it should be stormed without even clamoring for it. Naturally, all parties have to have zoning to them. South is their turn. For sake of equity. Because if you want to show oneness, that we are one, let them benefit, whether good or bad. There's no way you don't have good leadership. There's no way you cannot have the best. The Igbo have it, the Yoruba have it. But what I say is that since for equity, it should be given to them. That's why I say I believe in 100%. If you watch our constitution, we are one Nigeria. We are one. Even the constitution believe they also recognize. I said that's why it was done according to zone. You have South, Southwest, Southeast. All those, it was shared. Northeast. Those are zones to make sure that everybody have fairness. Even in our own constitution, also you have federal character commission. It should to make sure every appointment is no sector is left out. It's a constitutional provision. It's from the constitution I'm quoting. Federal character commission is one of the independent agencies that is independent. They're like INEC and the APC and others, and the NJC. They are similar, independent that you cannot. Despite that the executive arm of government is one appointing them, but maybe you are appointed or sworn in, you have president has no control over you. It's independent, like INEC. So the Federal Commission makes sure things are done. Because the constitution recognizes that those who made the constitution, who wrote it then, those who were involved know that everybody should be shared equitably. So if you're going to join to this, I believe it's the high time they give it to the Igbo. Let them enjoy their 8 years.
They should enjoy their 8 years.
No, our government is 8 years.
Almost 8 years.
Almost. Are you speaking as a politician or as a legal practitioner?
Don't forget that I have a human rights background.
Yeah.
As an activist, and I believe that it is the best thing to be done for equity. Anything done without fairness it's injustice, and injustice, you know what it breeds? It breeds a lot of problems.
All right. Now, if you take a look at the Just Regular Convention as a commenter addition to this particular segment, Bunu said something. He said, look, with the emergence of these officials of the APC speaking nationwide, that APC will be the party to bid for more than a decade or two. You know, someone made this comment about the PDP that have been in power for up to more than 50 years. Do you see that happening, Derek?
You mean that APC will be
are you actually going to back at me
power for decades to come?
Yes, that's what they said.
Well, I will not speak as a politician. I will speak as an ordinary individual in the streets. What the people are saying is that their trust have been betrayed by the current leadership. A lot of promises were made, promises of unemployment benefits to jobless Nigerians of 5,000, you know, that Naira will be at par with the dollar, that petroleum products will be sold at less than 100 Naira a liter, you know, and so on and so forth, that education, you know, will be accessible and free, you know, that there will be food for every citizen of this country, that jobs, 3 million jobs will be, you know, created annually. You know, a lot of promises, not knowing that people believed, not knowing that all these promises were bogus, that the government of the day did not have actual plans to fulfilling them. You know, this government had positioned itself.
Well, you cannot say they don't have actual plans to fulfilling them. That would be unfair to the government. Because
I said they have very good plans
to
fulfilling them.
All right.
You know, you will recall a lot of sentiments that surrounds this government in terms of decision making when issues are happening in this country. Remember that this government also promised the issue of Boko Haram and banditry will be a thing of the past as soon as they take control of the government of this nation. And at the end of the day, what have we today? A situation where Boko Haram members, insurgents are being reintegrated into the society. And on the other hand, people who are fighting for a fair and equitable, for their fair and equitable rights, are being killed, are being jailed without trial, and what have you. So, tribal and ethnic sentiments seem to have plagued this government. There's no national consciousness in the minds of many of the officials of this government. Not let me say all, many of them. And a country, you know, that takes such rule, a leadership that takes such rule, we hardly be able to do something very substantial.
So you're saying that prophecy may not be correct?
As a result of all of this betrayal of trust to the people that elected this government into power, it will be difficult for trust to be reestablished.
All right.
And I don't know what is happening to this government, because now that the election year is around the corner, election is about a year away from now, they still are not doing what a typical politician does. A typical politician at this point in time, we start coming to romance the electorate, we start, you know, trying to massage our ego,
salary, all of it.
Trying to make sure that petroleum products are available and at the proper regulated price, you know, but it seems like the government seems to be an enemy of itself.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Derek Uhuago. That's your last line on this particular segment. Okay, well, Barrister Patrick, your last line, that comment that since they're able to successfully conduct that convention, APC will be invincible for more than a decade.
I think it's an figment of imagination. from the speaker, somebody who made that statement. It's an statement of imagination. Because it's, for me, as far as I'm concerned, that statement is state news. It no longer exists. When PDP was there, that time point, he made a similar statement, but today is PDP. So they shouldn't forget there are a lot of issues around that need to be tackled that this government have not done. They shouldn't forget the issue of the NSAS. We talked about here, who made it clear that the issue of the panel that were set up were meant to calm the situation. They were not able to do anything. Up to today, all the report, the monetary, nothing. The next thing the federal government, I heard about from the federal government, that was about 6 months ago, where they said they want to build 3,000 prisons. 3,000 prisons to pay these people. That is the essence. And you are telling me that you'll be made back for the next 50 years. I think it's absolutely impossible. It's not possible at all. It's a figment of imagination. I think that does not exist. The NSAS youth are also waiting. Because the hardship in the country, the cost of living, so many things that this government are afraid to do. Is very much, they are aware. I think 2023 election is going to be a unique election.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let's see if the prophecy of Bonet will come true. He's saying after this, they are invincible. That's formidable for more than a decade. They'll still be here. Someone made that statement about a political party, and now the party no longer holds sway in the national level. Is it going to be the fate of the APC? We don't know. Let's just keep watching and keep observing. Well, it's all about the APC convention. You heard the opinions and views entirely theirs. It has nothing to do with ITV. But they did their best possible to follow rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Well, we'll go on a break. When we return, we'll take a look at poverty as a factor to consider in 2023 general elections. Don't go away. We'll be right back.